What's up? A to Z Sports Live on a Friday heading into NFL Week 2. Titans home opener against the LA Chargers. And we're going to get you set for it. And a concern that has continued to creep up throughout the week regarding DeAndre Hopkins. We'll discuss why DeAndre Hopkins' injury on his ankle injury report is more than just some veteran rest for the Titans wide receivers. We'll go through that. Is it a big deal, small deal, no deal? I mentioned that I thought Ryan Tannehill had some PTSD with his offensive line play from Sunday. How many Titans fans will have PTSD from failed wide receiver experiments today after we talk about DeAndre Hopkins and the ankle injury that he's already got going on? So we're going to have a lot of good conversations throughout the show. And then also, Sam, you are not going to be in the pregame show. So you will have your opportunity to give your biggest key for the Titans to get to 1-1 against the LA Chargers, who are also trying to avoid the 0-2 hole. We each have a bet of the weekend for the Titans game, and then we'll also talk about some other teams that are could be in some trouble around the AFC, and we'll wrap up the week with Ain't That Good News, Ain't That Good News every Friday to send us to the weekend. So Sam, welcome in. Let's get this thing rolling.
Let's do it, Austin. It's Friday. In the words of Sir Charles Jones and the Titans practice, it's Friday. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. Make sure everybody watching shares the show this morning. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, take the YouTube link, send it to a friend, send it in a group chat, get them involved and joining the conversation. We're talking Titans here, and make sure you introduce them to A to Z Sports so they can join us for the pregame show, for next week's shows, and continue to be a part of the A to Z Sports family moving forward. So it is Friday. It's a great Friday. Share the show before we go. Let's do it.
All right, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is our Titans reporter, Sam Phelan, at AtoZSports.com. Sam will be out there on the practice field where Sir Charles Jones will be blaring from the speakers.
Hey, listen,
always on a Friday.
The chat's coming from my neck here saying, don't sing. I'll sing if I want to. Listen, it is a Friday. I'm pumped up. I'm going to be singing at the Titans facility. I'm going to be doing a little two-step when Sir Charles Jones comes on the speakers. It's my vibe song. I love it. So they're trying to
don't hate,
kill my vibe here. What are we doing?
That's a different song. But Sam, we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Gotta thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. And see them in Lebanon, the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, better coverage rates and service at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping us all safe online. And you can get a 2-week free trial for Aura services by using our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations across the mid-state in Columbia, Franklin, and in Murfreesboro, online at KrebsKubota.com. So, Sam, the Titans are trying to avoid the 0-2 hole for the second time in back-to-back seasons. And the stat, well, I'm sure we'll talk about this stat, but only 11% of teams in the NFL since like 1990 who have started 0-2 have made the playoffs. The Titans looked like they were going to be a part of that 11% after Thursday night, 7-3 record, leading the AFC South by several games. And then all of a sudden, they had the bottom fall out, and they're 7-10, didn't win again, and still haven't won since that Thursday night up in Green Bay. And so they were a part of the 89% of 0-2 teams that don't make the playoffs. So they have to avoid that hole, and the Chargers are sitting there doing the same thing after losing a shootout to Miami in week 1, 36-34. The Titans in a complete opposite game, 16-15 loss at New Orleans. So there's a lot to get to. We'll talk about it, but the injury report, as we're going to have to monitor this because that's exactly what we're having to do here covering the Titans after the last couple of years. The injury report, Sam, I'll let you take us through it because you've been at practice the last couple of days and you'll be out there again today. Take us through the situation of of what a couple of these key injuries for players that we've seen so far this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, starting off at the bottom there, you have Trey Avery and Dylan Radins, who have both been on the injury report, but, all signs are go for both of them. They've been full participants in practice so far this week, so no real cause for concern there. Traylon Burks missed on Wednesday with what Mike Vrabel called a personal situation that he was just dealing with, had to take care of on Wednesday. So he did not practice, was back full participant on Thursday. Traylon's good to go. Same with Tajay Spears, limited with the groin. I think that kind of surprised Titans fans to see Tajay pop up on the injury report. No real cause for concern there. And I would throw Tier Tart in the same bucket. I'm not too worried about his availability or ability to practice. I really have to focus on those three guys in the middle: Amani Hooker, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Fulton as the three names to monitor. Amani Hooker still in concussion protocol. I would say Austin at this point probably doesn't look good for Amani to play on Sunday against the Chargers. Elijah Molden going to probably be that second safety starting alongside Kevin Byard. So see how Elijah handles that, but not looking great for Amani Hooker right now. Christian Fulton with the hamstrings been really limited. I mean, he's been out there, but he's been very limited in what he wants to do. He told me in the locker room, "I'm good, man. The goal is to play Sunday." What we've seen on the practice field hasn't really matched up with that "I'm good, man" so far. So it could go either way there. Go ahead.
No, I was just laughing that it doesn't match up with "I'm good, man." Like,
Yeah.
if you were good, man, would you be doing more at practice? Most likely. But is he saying "I'm good, man" for Sunday or "I'm good, man" for practice? Probably for Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important distinction, right? And so I think that anytime you're looking at an injury report and a guy's ability to play, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, I guess, because somebody can very easily not practice and still play in the game. Especially if they're a veteran player, especially if they've got some experience in the league. You don't always need to be full go for a practice in order to suit up on Sunday, which brings me to DeAndre Hopkins, who has not practiced. It's an ankle injury. And, if you're like me, I kind of didn't realize DeAndre Hopkins had banged up his ankle until we got into the week of practice. And I looked at the injury report. I said ankle. And so we went back and we looked and we found, Austin, that it happened on the last play from scrimmage, the last offensive play that the Titans ran, that third down, a pass to Hopkins. He catches the ball, gets tackled, goes down, kind of limps off the field, and then is seen rubbing and rolling out his ankle afterwards, and now not practicing with that ankle injury.
Yeah, I think me and probably several other people were just thinking, "Oh, veteran receiver is going to have a day off, and it's not going to be that big of a deal." But now back to back did not practices with an ankle, and then like you're saying, going back to the film, and Sam and I took the screenshot this morning of DeAndre Hopkins right after that third down catch before the 4th and 6 controversial field goal decision that Mike Vrabel made of rubbing out that left ankle. Right there, just right off the field. It wasn't like he went to a trainer. He got off the field, laid down, and started working on the ankle himself. So it is more than just a veteran receiver getting some rest. So DeAndre Hopkins hurt after one game is going to bring back a lot of people thinking, "Oh no, here we go again." When it comes to a veteran receiver the Titans have acquired having injury issues and not being able to pan out. Because DeAndre Hopkins helped you in that game. He was your leading receiver. You gave him 13 targets, and he made some plays for you. Did Tannehill force it to him? Probably, sure. So that's something that's very concerning. I do want to get to another comment before we dive deeper into DeAndre Hopkins, because Orlando brings up when it comes to the situation with Amani Hooker. I'm concerned about Hooker. This is his third concussion in a year. That's rough. I don't know if it's exactly that, but he has definitely had several concussions. It feels like maybe did he have 2 last year? I know he at least had 1 last year. But regardless, having a concussion this early in a year is something to be concerned about right there.
Yeah, he's such an impact player too. I had him leading the team in interceptions in my bold predictions. I was really, really bullish on Amani Hooker this season, with what I saw him doing in training camp and practices as part of this defense. And while KB's kind of the captain of the secondary back there, Amani Hooker is the guy that's flying around and seemingly always around the football, making plays on the ball. So I was really, really excited to see him with KB back there and see the damage the two of them could do creating turnovers. And I mean, not to say that that can't still happen, hopefully Amani is back before long, but already a concussion, already one missed game probably from Amani Hooker coming up. It's really unfortunate and, potentially very impactful for this defense. Elijah Molden, I think you feel okay about, but still a lot of uncertainty there because this is a new position for him. A lot of adjusting going on. He's not quite the, ball hawk that Amani Hooker is.
For sure. A to Z Sports here live on this Friday show. Sam, let's go ahead and talk more about this DeAndre Hopkins situation. I do want to get to our question today to the audience. DeAndre Hopkins is dealing with an ankle injury. It's not actual rest. Is it a big deal, small deal, or no deal?
Oh, looks like our buddy Austin kind of timed out here. All right. Well, we are going to ask that question. DeAndre Hopkins ankle injury. Is it a big deal, a small deal, or no deal? A big deal, small deal, or no deal? DeAndre Hopkins ankle injury. Before we tell you guys about that, I'm going to tell you about the Bone and Joint Institute. I'll try and do my best to dodge this little divider here. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. You can visit them online and schedule an appointment at boneandjointtn.org. That's boneandjointtn.org to schedule an appointment. The Bone and Joint Institute has a state-of-the-art rehab facility located out in Franklin to assist in your recovery. They have doctors that are good, reliable care so you don't fumble on your recovery. Go visit them out in Franklin. Don't drive all over Middle Tennessee to go to your different appointments from appointment A to appointment B. One-stop shop, clinic, rehab, image, surgery, testing, all located out there in Franklin at the Bone and Joint Institute. So schedule your appointment. It's boneandjointtn.org. We are also powered by BetMGM. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. That's ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet doesn't win. So go on there, use that promo code, place your first wager. And even if your bet loses, you are all good with BetMGM. You can, Austin, now rejoining us as I tell the folks about the BetMGM offer. You look forward to this Titans game. Look forward to a big Vols Florida game this weekend over there. I believe they're in Knoxville, right, Austin?
Gainesville.
So on the road, tough one for Tennessee on the road. If you're looking for any of those bets, get your action with BetMGM. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up. ATOZ Sports for up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet. Welcome back.
Yeah, apologies. I am back. My computer froze for about 30 seconds, but it was still working. And then all of a sudden it went black and my computer just said, hey, I need to take a timeout. I need to restart. But hey, we're back. We're live. We're at it. So let me get set back up with a couple things. But Sam, I will send you to the chat. The D-Hop injury is more than just rest. So D-Hop already has an injury concern going into his second Titans game. Is this a big deal, small deal, or no deal? Sam, what are the people saying thus far?
Matt thinks it's no deal. Steven says it's a small deal. So does Scott. We've got a huge deal from Guy, small from Joseph, big deal from Michael, no deal from Eric. We've got a small deal from Major Keys. We've got a big deal from John, a small deal from Titans Kyle. A little bit of a distraction at this point in the answers because Austin pieced out while the chat was answering.
This is the second time this week that my computer has decided to crap out on me during the show. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was Monday and Friday. Bookends, just bad computer days. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's up to date. It doesn't need an update. Everything's been updated. It's got plenty of storage. My Wi-Fi is totally fine. I don't know why my computer's misbehaving, but it's making me angry. But hey, this is not how you start a football season. But anyway, back to the chat.
Bad for morale. See, this is going to come back. I don't want to say it's going to come back and bite the Vols, but it might bite the Vols. This might be karma coming back on Gainesville.
No, nothing to do with
that. Deborah says a small deal. So does Billy Jones. Small deal from Rooney. Big deal from Tighten Up. Small deal from Jaron. We have a small from Nathaniel. A big deal from Ed. Small deal from Kaz. John. Tighten Up. Darius. A big deal from Hammer. No deal from Aaron. Big deal from Eddie. Austin, we are all over the map here. With our big deal, small deal, no deal on this DeAndre Hopkins ankle injury. Where do you fall in line? Are you, I think majority of the chat is where? Small deal probably, but we've got a good variety here.
I'm very like this. A lot hinges on today's practice. Does DeAndre Hopkins play Sunday if he doesn't practice at all this week? I don't know. I think this is a big deal because DeAndre Hopkins was brought here to help the Titans win the AFC South and go for it in the last year of Tannehill and Derrick Henry's contract with this defense. So the fact that here we are again, it's week 2 and DeAndre Hopkins is legitimately hurt. Like this is not him getting rest. I'm going to throw it back up there on the screen. The screenshot that we saw on the game right there was DeAndre Hopkins immediately after the Titans' last offensive snap of the game had this situation after he caught that ball on third down. The Titans get a field goal and D-Hop, we never saw the Titans offense. So if you didn't catch, and that image right there was all like a second and a half, right? It was a second and a half of the CBS broadcast. And then if you'd missed it, if you blinked and you didn't see that, then nobody would have known DeAndre Hopkins was dealing with anything until Wednesday at 3:00 when the injury report came out. So I think it's a big deal because it is very easy for this snowball that has already been packed with Ryan Tannehill's awful performance in New Orleans. The snowball has been packed, and now the D-Hop ankle injury is starting to push it and just push it over the edge of the hill. And then where does it roll? Like that's why I say big deal.
I mean, I can't go big deal. And frankly, I'm leaning closer to no deal than I am even to small deal. Like I really like, for one, I would not be shocked if DeAndre Hopkins played without practicing. I think he's experienced enough that he could do that. Now, what does that mean for Ryan Tannehill and him and their chemistry after we saw maybe not always on the same page in week 1, for them not to have had a practice together and then get thrown into a game? Not great. But until I think I have reason to believe that this is like a serious thing, like if D-Hop misses one game and is back at practice next week, Wednesday, I think it's water under the bridge for me. I'm not too concerned about it. So, like, unless I believe that
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, unless I believe that this is going to be a long-term thing, and we go and he doesn't play Sunday and we come out Wednesday of next week and he's still not practicing, then I'm like, okay, this is a problem. This is something serious going on. They need to prepare to miss some time with him. I think you can make it by with 1 week without D-Hop. Would you like to have him? Absolutely. But especially against the Chargers defense, I'm like, I think you can make it work.
Look, yes. Like, can the Titans beat the Chargers without DeAndre Hopkins? I don't think it's impossible to. I'd rather have DeAndre Hopkins for the Titans' chance to beat the Chargers, but it's more about what this means long-term for me more than it is this particular game. Because
I mean that's where I think I disagree with you, because I don't have any long-term concern.
I do. Ankle injuries, as you know, the great he's not great anymore because now he's just annoying. Drake once said, the sprained ankle ain't nothing to play with, right? But seriously, ankles don't just magically heal when you start a season with a ankle that's giving you a problem. Like that is going to be if the ankle for DeAndre Hopkins is a problem right now, the likeliness of it being a problem in November, in December, in January is probably pretty high, right? That's what ankles are. They mess around and last a long time and constantly annoy the hell out of you. And we have no clue what actually we're going to think here. Like, would DeAndre Hopkins have been able to go back in if the Titans got the ball back at the end of the Saints game? Probably. But what also we know about ankles is it's fine usually immediately after. It's that extra day. That next day is when the swelling starts and the stiffness comes in, and now it's really affecting you. So I think that's, if it was a bruised rib or like anything else, I think I'd be okay. But like an ankle, like that's just something that will linger, and there's been a lot of examples of ankle injuries like hamstrings typically last the entire season once they creep up, which is why the Christian Fulton situation is also very concerning.
Yeah. Look, I get it from the perspective of a fan for sure. I know the chat is probably more inclined to agree with that way of thinking than mine, especially with the way veteran wide receivers have performed and been available with the Titans in the past. I'm aware of that history, and sure, some people might believe that this is just karma and how things go when you're a veteran receiver with the Tennessee Titans. I obviously don't subscribe to that. Is there a chance it lingers? Yes. DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have a ton of history of things of this nature in his background for me to be super concerned about it. I've gotten indications that so he hasn't really been around the locker room, but that he was maybe going to be in the locker room and he was maybe going to speak with us yesterday.
But he didn't.
If he was super unavailable, I don't know. I think it's a little bit too pessimistic, a little bit too sky is falling to assume that a guy missing 2 practices with an ankle means it's going to be a long-term problem for him. Also want to say,
I just know
Drake ain't great. Since when is Drake not great? Where
Drake
when did Drake? I didn't get the memo that Drake became annoying all of a sudden. I feel he doesn't have the same amount of hits as he used to, but
there's Drake. There is I knew I said something controversial as soon as I brought it up, but Drake was way better when about 10 years ago than he is now. He's a different Drake, and
I think that's fair. I mean, he's not. If you're
and Kenny, thank you. Kenny says Drake is annoying as hell, and John says Drake's been trash. Drake is just a weird dude, and somebody Hammer says Drake's getting corny. Drake is no longer the same Drake that he was. Drake
corny.
popped off.
Drake has been corny, but his music is
but it was fire. But the corniness was new and then it got old. So yeah, I think a lot of people agree with me when it comes to Drake. Right. Now, he has some great songs, don't get me wrong, but
I agree.
They're all much older than the
Drake music is not what it was when he was releasing. If you're reading this, it's too late. But I didn't feel like you needed to correct yourself when you said the great Drake.
No, I did. I said too much, and I was like, hold on. Before I commit to the great Drake, which is a good sounding alliteration thing, I was like, that's not correct. The old Drake was better. All right, so let's get to some super chats and some other things here about this DeAndre Hopkins situation. But first, let me tell you guys all about our friends at Krebs Kubota. Oh, wrong graphic there. I'm having a hard time with this computer thing this week. Krebs Kubota, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big event, the field day for Krebs Kubota in Franklin. So go check them out. You can get great demos and ride and test out some Krebs Kubota equipment at Delory Farms off Wilson Pike in Franklin, Tennessee. Their field event is tomorrow, Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Go to KrebsKubota.com to register. What do you need to bring? Your family. If you got young kids that love and would love to have the opportunity to ride on some great equipment, some Kubota equipment with Krebs, that is the time to do it. 10-3, you got plenty of time to do that before the big college football gets going on Saturday. They'll have equipment you can try out tomorrow: zero-turn mowers, compact tractors, utility tractors, hay tools, which you don't just see every day, utility vehicles, always fun, hydraulic tillers, Montana post driver. There's excavators with a bucket and thumb. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do at Krebs Kubota tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Delory Farms in Franklin. So go check it out and register today at KrebsKubota.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You place your first wager. You use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up. And that first wager is risk-free, meaning even if it loses, you get a second chance to win big. And that money goes back into your account in a form of a bonus bet up to $1,500. That's the best way to do sports betting. If you're looking to get with a sports book this football season, get with BetMGM and use the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, so RJ says, Austin, I will be joining y'all at the rooftop for the game. I appreciate that. And if you are like RJ, come hang out with us at Acme Feed and Seed on the rooftop for our pregame, halftime, and postgame show. Me and Jack will be up there for that. So we'll be there early this week for the first one, but the pregame show will begin at 11:30, like always, right before. And then TJ says, sorry, I was going to click on that there too. TJ says, have a few on me, Austin, from the rooftop. Well, I will do the Spirited Hive $1 off canned cocktails. I have a couple in the fridge, little tests that I plan on either enjoying tonight or at some point tomorrow, so I can talk better about Spirited Hive, because I'm excited about the Spirited Hive partnership with Acme of $1 off canned cocktails. They got bourbon cocktails, gin, vodka, tequila, so that'll be fun. So check us out there. But the other comment I wanted to get to, Sam, was the one of Corey saying, Sam, Titans got to go 3-3 in this 6-game stretch. I get what Corey is saying. I don't think 3-3 is a must. I think 2-4 is okay, especially because we know one of the 4 is going to be the Saints game, which is an NFC opponent. But I think anything less than 2-4, deep trouble.
Yeah. The reason I think this is important, though, is because anytime you're talking about an injury, anytime you're talking about, like short-term stuff, I do think there is a point here that the negative that the Titans have that they're dealing with is that their hardest games of the season are early on, are right from the jump here. So as Ryan Tannehill tries to figure out whatever the heck's going on with him, as DeAndre Hopkins tries to work through some of his injuries and hopefully get back and be normal D-Hop that we know on the field, every single one of these first 6 games is going to be important and potentially the difference in the season. You feel good about the Titans after week 7, after the bye week, but what can they do in this first 6, and are they going to fall too far behind, especially with the way Jacksonville looked in week 1, with their offense looking really good? Like, we'll see what the Jags do over the next few weeks as well, but you don't want to be sitting 2-3 games back in the AFC South after the bye week, needing to play catch up. So, like, I do think that would be the argument that brings me from like a no deal to a small deal, is the fact that like there is a little sense of urgency to me. The Titans can't really afford to start 0-2 or 0 whatever. Like, they need to get some wins, and the schedule doesn't get easier because the Chargers, looked pretty good, and the Browns looked really good in week 1.
The Chargers looked okay. The Chargers offense looked good in a loss. They threw for 200 plus, ran for 200 plus. Now, Austin Eckler, one thing we haven't brought up, Sam, much is that the Chargers injury report is maybe equally concerning to the Titans, because Joey Bosa did not practice both days. Austin Eckler, who left the game during the game and did not return, has not practiced with an ankle injury, same as D-Hop. And Austin Eckler had a killer game before he went out, over 100 yards. Now, the Chargers also have Joshua Kelly, running back at UCLA, who had nearly 100 yards after Eckler went down. But there is a concern there that, Austin Eckler is somebody that if you're a Titans fan, you're just like, hoping and praying that Jack Gibbons doesn't get matched up with Austin Eckler on third and medium, or third and goal from the 5 that's going to end up in a touchdown or a first down, whatever that situation is. And if Amani Hooker is still in concussion protocol, he's another player who has the ability to cover a running back or tight end like or a player like Austin Eckler out in space there too. So I want to get to some more chats here because Bork says 3-3 in the first 6 is the goal, but 2-4 is survivable. John says 3-3, I feel, is a have to. It means more in the long term of the season with the offense and right tackle. Anything less is red flags. I don't think 3-3 is a have to. And so Jody says 2-4 is big trouble.
So I think it depends because 3-3 should be the goal. 2-4 might be survivable, but it depends what else is going on in your division. Because if you're 2-4 and the Jags are 5-1, red alert. Like you've got problems. I think
we'll talk about
it's going to be hard to gain that much ground on this Jaguars team. You do not want to get that far behind the sticks in the division. So if you can stay 3-3, you will confidently be right in the mix of things. If you're 2-4, you're putting yourself in a position to potentially be really chasing late in the year. That's a really tough spot. Like you got to dig yourself out of a hole at that point.
Yeah, Demetrius says, where are the two wins against in these next 5? I mean, I think you can beat the Chargers. You can beat all these teams. It's just you're probably most likely to beat the Colts.
Chargers, Browns, Colts are probably the 3 most likely.
And the Bengals too, right? Like, Joe Burrow's got a couple more games to figure it out but they were awful. Like the Bengals were bad across the board in week 1 against the Browns. And so you've got time to get that. And that's a home game. There's going to be a lot of people ready to take revenge on the Bengals for what happened in the playoffs. And so Cameron says the Titans can beat them all. Like, yes, individually, none of those opponents are insurmountable or impossible wins, but it's about the stringing together. And Ken says, Austin, the Titans are historically bad against the Bolts. They're bad against the Chargers in Los Angeles or California because I don't even know if the Titans have won in San Diego, and they are out of chances to do that. But the Titans have been better against the Chargers when they come to Nashville. I want to say the last 2 games of the Chargers in Nashville that I can remember off the top of my head, the Titans have won both of them. Phillip Rivers back in 2019, which was Tannehill's first start, there was a fumble at the goal line with Eckler and Jarrell Casey and Jeffrey Simmons. That was his first game. Titans win that one. And then one of the best high Jake Locker moments of his career was a game touchdown, whatever season that was. Maybe there was a Chargers game in Nashville in between those, but those are the 2 that I remember. So anyway, Sam, I do think 2-4, you're okay. You've got more work to do. 3-3 is not a must.
How do you feel about what I said about the Jags though? Because I feel like 2-4 with a 4-2 Jaguars team is a much different feel than 2-4 with a 5-1 Jaguars team. Like I think that shifts the vibe tremendously depending on where Jacksonville is going into that bye week. Like, are they dead at that point? No, but they certainly don't feel like a contender the same way they would be if they were at that 3-3 point or, a couple games closer to Jacksonville.
Sure. But again, the Jags don't have a tough end of the season, but they've got a tougher road throughout the middle of it. And so like you're talking about the Jags getting to 4-2 or 5-1. That means they're going to beat the Chiefs. That means they can lose to the Chiefs or the Bills. The Falcons, I think, are going to be interesting. They've got the first place schedule. They've got the Niners coming up in early November. They've got the Bengals. They've got the Browns and the Ravens in a row. That's a 3-game stretch in December. Bengals, Browns, Ravens for the Jags. And so that's something that they're going to have to play with. And I guess why I don't think 2-4 sinks you is because I think you can still be in a good striking distance point because of how the Titans schedule plays out versus how the Jags schedule plays out.
Yeah, but Devin asked, why would we care about another team's record? That team's in your division, so I don't know. You
Because
might
that's
want
who
to.
your competition is.
Yeah, you might want to care about like what the other teams in your record in your division do. Does kind of matter at the end of the year, just a little bit. Records kind of matter.
And here's the big kicker, Sam, is the Titans have 2 games against the Jags that are super important. If the Titans are 2-4 in the first 6, then you got to have both
One
of
of
them
them
against
is
the
the
Jags.
last week of the year, though, and you have to be within striking distance.
Sure, totally. And if the Titans are 3-3, they can probably afford to split the Jags. If they're 2-4, you got to sweep them. So we'll talk about that more. All right. Well, they got to get to 1-1 first, because 0-2 is basically a death sentence in the NFL for playoff hope. So Sam, you've got your biggest key to the Titans getting to 1-1 here against the LA Chargers. So your biggest key to get to 1-1. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans is a great key to help you have better health coverage, but not pay as much. Like, that's kind of awesome, because Farm Bureau Health Plans has been doing this for over 75 years for Tennesseans across the state for such a long time. They are experts at that, and it does not matter what your situation is. Everybody has their own financial and family situation that determines how your health plan needs to be set up, and they can mold it to fit you. It's so easy to sign up with Farm Bureau Health Plans. Zach and others in our A to Z Sports Company have done this with Farm Bureau Health Plans. A 20 or 30-minute health assessment is all it takes, over the phone, over a Zoom, or in person. But get your process started by checking out their website and use our link to do it, fbhp.com/ATOZ for Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use that bonus code on the bottom of your screen, ATOZ Sports, when you sign up with BetMGM, and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You place that first wager with that bonus code, and even if your bet loses, you're getting your money back into your account, up to $1,500 in the form of a bonus bet with a second chance to win big. That's the best way to do sports betting. It's the best way to get with the sports book. So get with BetMGM. Make sure you're doing your picks with them this weekend and using that bonus code, ATOZ Sports.
All right, Sam. I'm going to let you get to your biggest key of the game, and then I will give you, as of now, what my favorite bet is on BetMGM for Titans and Chargers. But Sam, the Titans need to get to 1-1. If they don't, then it's slim pickings, 11% chance to make the playoffs, like we've discussed a lot last year. What is the biggest key for a Titans win on Sunday, since you're not going to be on our pregame show?
Well, listen, I feel like a broken record because I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. But I think specifically looking at this Chargers offense, the biggest key for the Titans is going to be stopping explosive plays for the first time in what feels like forever. The Titans don't do it, but the Chargers have 4 very, very valuable wide receivers: Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston. They've got a tight end in Gerald Everett. They've got 2 dangerous running backs in Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly, and a quarterback in Justin Herbert that you can never fall asleep on and has some premier arm talent. But talking to defensive coordinator Shane Bowen yesterday, Austin, I think he made a really interesting point, talking about how good he has felt about that front 4 and front 7 specifically on his defense, and saying the biggest key for why preventing explosive plays are important is they want to make teams get into long drives, long sustained drives where they have to be very methodical, because the more plays an opposing offense runs, the more opportunities you have for a sack, for a setback, for a turnover, things, and the havoc that is caused by this defensive line gets more opportunities when a team has to go 10, 11 plays down the field and can't do it in 3 or 4 shots like the Saints did a few times. You don't want to just get a team into scoring range off of one play. You want to make them earn it. So if the Titans can limit explosive plays through the air, I'm going to be really interested in seeing what first year with the Chargers offensive coordinator Kellen Moore does with his offense. This is a pass-first offense that ran the ball 40 times in week 1. They had 200-plus rushing yards between their two backs in Eckler and Joshua Kelly. You'd assume Kellen Moore kind of goes back to that, but at the same time, the Titans stopped the run. They have the number 1 run defense in the NFL last year. They held New Orleans to 69 rushing yards as a team. They do a good job against the run. So I think if you can prevent the explosive plays through the air, you make Kellen Moore's decision really difficult, and hopefully give your defensive line more opportunities to get tackles for loss, sacks, make the Chargers go forward on 3rd and 8 instead of 3rd and 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm looking at, kind of the box score from the Chargers-Dolphins game. And the running game, Eckler's availability is going to be massive because not only did he run for 117 and had a 55-yard run too, but he caught 4 passes for 47 and had a long of 35. So I'll say it again. Austin Eckler had a running play of 55 and a catch of 35. Those are big plays. That's what you're looking at. You also had Keenan Allen, whose long play was 36 yards through the air. Mike Williams had a long of 24. And so they do have explosive ability. And then there's another thing I look at too, Sam, because I think what you kind of mentioned about getting the Chargers in 3rd and long and getting stops, because Herbert was sacked 3 times, but he lost 29 yards on those 3 sacks. So those are pretty deep sacks of an average of nearly 10 yards lost on a sacks.
The drive
and
killer.
So
that kills the drive.
And that's obviously it kills a drive if it's not on 3rd down. But if you get a sack of 10 yards or close to it on 3rd down, you're talking about almost an entire 1st down for the Titans offense on the other way, right? So you're flipping field position there too. And we saw Arden Key get after it. Danico Autry looked like his regular dominant self. Jeffrey Simmons, same thing. Harold Landry, hopefully he gets more comfortable there too. And so I think it's really important for what you're saying is that the Titans have to defensively stop the big gashing plays and make the Chargers earn it, especially if Austin Eckler's playing.
Yeah. Well, and Shane Bowen pointed this out as well, but some of these explosive plays they gave up in New Orleans came when they were winning, up front. Their pass rush was winning and getting after Derek Carr. He was just getting rid of the ball really quick, and had guys that were getting open deep. So you can't let the ball get thrown over your head. You have to stay fundamentally sound, and give your pass rush an opportunity to make a play. So yeah, if Austin Eckler plays, you definitely have to prevent explosive plays. If Austin Eckler doesn't play and you prevent explosive plays through the air, you really limit what Kellen Moore is able to call and what he's able to do. And somebody else pointed it out and commented it earlier, but the biggest key, it was Rooney came in with this, but you have to get into 3rd and long. The Chargers did a really good job against Miami of getting into 3rd and 2. And finding versatility on 3rd and short with Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert and Joshua Kelly, and finding ways to convert and be creative on 3rd and short. It's a lot more difficult when it's 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9. So yeah, make them earn it. Make them do 10, 11, 12 play drives, and then trust that your playmakers are going to come up with a play more often than not on the defensive side of the ball. That's the big key for me.
All right, A to Z Sports here live on this, what's today? Friday. I'm glad it's Friday. Man, it's been a long week, especially for my computer.
Friday.
My computer could use a break. Computer could use a break from doing live shows because it's done live shows at this point 6 days in a row. And I think it's showing the impacts of that now that we've ramped up the season. So, all right. So, Sam, we're going to talk about the other 0-2 AFC teams as well, and some teams that might be in some big trouble. But I also have my BetMGM pick of the week for the Titans game. So if you want to make a play on the Titans game, I've got a play coming for you. But first, let me tell you guys about our friends Aura, who keeps me safe online. Maybe I can get Aura to help my computer be stronger, but Aura protects me with my information and doesn't allow data brokers to sell my information to spammers and robocallers and telemarketers, because those data brokers automatically get opt-out requests on my behalf that Aura sends them. And that happened in like 5 or 6 days. Aura identified 30 data brokers that were selling my information and ripped away my information from them in 5 or 6 days. We're giving you a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. If you haven't done it yet, what are you waiting on? I've been talking about this for nearly 5 months at this point. Aura is legit. It's great. It monitors your passwords and protects your passwords. It also organizes those too. Credit and identity theft monitoring. You don't have to do all that. If you only want to use Aura for the data broker situation and protect that information, then great. 2-week free trial. Take advantage of it with aura.com/ATOZ. But there's a ton of different ways that I haven't even got below the surface really on all of Aura's services because they do so much to keep your information safe online. Aura.com/ATOZ for that 2-week free trial.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. We're going to come with our picks here in a minute, but if you have a pick you want to get off this weekend, make sure you do it with the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM, and use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. You can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You have to sign up with the bonus code ATOZ Sports, place your first wager, but even if it loses, you get that money back in the form of a bonus bet with a second chance to win. That's the best way to do sports betting. So if you're backing our picks, if you've got a pick of your own on the Titans this weekend, or even Tennessee going to Gainesville, make sure you do it with BetMGM.
All right, so my pick of the week, and real quick, I did see a comment here. Ashley asked, who did y'all pick, Sam and Austin, for the BetMGM Survivor Pool? Have you done your Survivor Pool yet?
I forgot to submit mine. I do have my pick, so if you want me to share it, I'm allowed to pick still, right? Even though the Thursday night game started.
Your Survivor Pool, there's only one game been played. You just can't pick the Eagles anymore. But so I have not done it. I looked today. This week was a lot harder. So we'll have to see how that looks. But
I already know my pick. My pick is Buffalo. So if you want to know who my pick is, I'm Buffalo taking on. Yeah, they're taking on the Saints. I think it's the Saints. Maybe it's the Raiders. Either way, I've got the Bills winning.
Okay, that's
nice bounce back for Josh Allen. So that is my Survivor Pool choice for this week.
I've also thought about the Cowboys because they play the Jets. I think that would make a lot of sense too. So anyway, I'll have to figure out my Survivor Pool. But Sam, for me, my BetMGM pick for this Titans game, it's a weird spot because BetMGM is waiting, and all the other sports books are waiting on the DeAndre Hopkins injury situation to put up a lot more player props. I like player props, so there's nothing really available for Treylon Burks right now. So I'm keeping my eye on that. But what I really liked that I already took this morning, Derrick Henry receiving yards over 15.5. It worked so well last week. And when the Titans needed a play, they threw it to 22 and it worked. And so, 15.5, I think is that spot for Derrick Henry. If he goes under that number, I don't know. I think it's kind of free yards to throw Derrick Henry a couple passes each week, and that should total for over 15.5. So I jumped on Derrick Henry's receiving yards over 15.5 already. I do like Treylon Burks over this week. I wrote it last week. It didn't happen. I was disappointed by it. But if it's Treylon Burks over 35 or 36, I like that too, because I think he's going to have probably 4-ish catches. And like we talked about with the Titans defense not giving up explosive plays, the Chargers gave up 14 explosive plays last week. I think Treylon Burks can get an explosive play, which helps him get to his over around that 35-36 number. So I like both of those.
I'm sticking with Derrick Henry, but I'm on the rushing yards. It's 85.5 on BetMGM. I'm taking the over. The vibe around the building at St. Thomas Sports Park all week has been, yep, hand up. We realized we should have given Derrick the rock a few more times, especially with the way he was running it. The Los Angeles Chargers run defense, atrocious, very bad. Derrick Henry should have his way with them. I expect the Titans to go there a lot, especially if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play. There's going to be more carries to go around and a more run-heavy day for Tennessee. So over 85.5, I think it's a get-right day for the King. He might find the end zone too, but I'm taking the over in rushing yards for Henry.
All right. So, Sam, let's ask this question because we've talked about the Titans and Chargers both at 0-1, needing to try to find a way to get out of that 0-2 hole and not find themselves there. There's some pretty interesting AFC contenders also at 0-1. Which of these three AFC contenders is in more trouble, the most trouble? The Bengals, the Bills, or the Chiefs? What do you think?
I think Cincinnati's in a lot of trouble. World of hurt. I actually think it's a deal here. Kansas City, not worried. Buffalo, not worried. Josh Allen threw 3 picks. He's not going to throw 3 picks every day. Aaron Rodgers going down with the Jets helps them. I don't think Tua is going to do it for a full 17-game season. I still like Buffalo in that division. Bengals are in trouble. This is a slow start. I think the Ravens are very legit. And so I think Cincinnati, if they start off slow, if they start off 0-2, if this thing continues to spiral a little bit, this is a big hole to dig themselves out of. So I would say the Bengals would be the most concerning team for me right now. That's 0-1. I mean, I think Joe Burrow is going to get right, but I'm not sure I think this Bengals team is quite as good as some of those other top tier teams in the AFC right now.
So the Chiefs have the Jags, though.
True. The Chiefs could start 0-3. They're still winning that division. Nobody in that division's good. Chargers aren't good. The Broncos aren't. Huh?
Nobody's good in the AFC West.
Other than the Chiefs, no. I mean, not good. Like the Raiders aren't good.
Contending.
Yeah. The Chargers aren't legit. The Raiders aren't very good. The Broncos aren't good. The Chiefs are going to win that division. I'm not worried about that at all. I think the Ravens are a sleeping giant. So I think a bad start for Cincinnati is problematic for them.
So you like Ravens +3 this week?
Love
Ravens at Cincinnati.
Love it.
Ravens at Cincinnati. Ravens +3.
Yeah, give it to me. I mean, I wouldn't say I love it because I think the ebbs and flows of the league would make that game pretty tight. It's a division game too. But that's a game, right? You're talking about Chiefs have the Jags. If Cincinnati loses to Baltimore, panic meter's at 11 in Cincinnati. I would be, things are bad if they lose to the Ravens. The Ravens go to 2-0. The Bengals are 0-2. That would be a tough spot for them to come out of, I think.
I think of the three that we're talking about, Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills, I agree with you. The Bengals are in the most trouble as of now because of their division, right? That's the point you're making. I think if the Chiefs go down to Jacksonville and lose and start 0-2, is that a sign that they are not going to contend for a Super Bowl this year, even if they walk away with the AFC West?
No. They have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. They're a Super Bowl contender.
But we don't know what Travis Kelce's going to be like.
He'll be fine. Travis Kelce will be back soon. I mean, even if he comes back week 4, he's fine. This is Chargers are legit. Sam spews nonsense. They're not. I'm sorry. You can believe they are. You can believe in Brandon Staley if you want to. I'm out. You can hop on that train without me. The Chargers are not legit. I've said it preseason. The Chargers, I think, still lose double-digit games. I'm not worried about the Chargers if I'm Kansas City right now.
Chargers lose double-digit games?
I think, yeah. Their defense is not good. It's really bad. They have 2 defensive players. Maybe 3.
Bosa. They have Khalil Mack, though, too.
Yeah, they half of Khalil Mack.
Derwin James.
They have Derwin James and Joey Bosa and the ghost of Khalil Mack. 3 players does not a defense make. I'm not worried about the Chargers.
Okay.
NFL pundits do this every year where they say, oh, the Chiefs are 1-2. Are the Chiefs is this the fall of the Chiefs kingdom? It's not. They have the best player in football. They have the best head coach in football. They're going to be okay.
Do you want to go ahead and give your pick for the game? Because again, you got Andre saying, Sam, stop it. Sam is huffing paint from DJ.
This is we will come back to this. The Chargers are not they're not special. Like, they have a great
All right,
offense.
so
they've got a quarterback with great arm talent. But
yeah, so real quick, me and Jack will be live for pregame, halftime, postgame. Sam, you'll be at Nissan Stadium in the press box for the game. So you will not have any more on-air responsibilities or opportunities unless something else happens today before the game kicks off. So, Sam, do you want to give your prediction? Because me and Jack will give our predictions on Sunday right before kick. Do you want to go ahead and give it? Are you prepared for it?
I got to think about a score. I got to think about a score.
No, you don't have to give
us
a score. If you just want to kind of give us your overall prediction, I'm game for that.
23-20 Titans.
23-20 Titans.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Not as high scoring. The under's definitely, the over's not going to hit in this game. It's pretty high over. I was kind of surprised.
45.5.
Huh?
45.5.
Oh, it's only 45. I feel like I thought it was higher. Even so, I don't really.
Your 23-20 is under.
Yeah, I think the under hits. It's going to be a lot of running the football from the Titans. It's going to be a lot of milking the clock from the Titans, controlling time of possession. If Austin Eckler doesn't play, which it doesn't look like he's going to, I think that's problematic for the Chargers. Shane Bowen did a really good job of containing Justin Herbert last season when they played him. I'm taking a Titans win. And a nice back to the basics, Mike Vrabel, run the football, play good defense victory here. And I'm going to have the chat apologizing because the beloved Super Bowl contending Chargers, who have never gone more than 10-7 ever, are going to be 0-2, and we're going to be crying. I don't think
people are saying that the Chargers are Super Bowl contenders. You said the Chargers are bad. You said that nobody outside the Chiefs in the AFC West is good. That's fine, but don't make the leap from you saying that nobody's good outside the Chiefs to saying
nobody's
that people
good
are saying
outside the Chiefs. Nobody's good in that division.
That's fine, but nobody here has said the Chargers are Super Bowl contenders. You made that assumption and leap from everybody else's comments. Are the Chargers a contender for a playoff spot? Yeah, that's the kind of. But anything further than that is a jump.
They're lucky to get a wild card. My point is, I'm not worried about the AFC West. I'll go on about this. We can keep going about this. Brandon Staley.
I'm done with this.
Brandon Staley stinks.
I don't talk to you. I don't have to talk to you until Wednesday after this. That's what I. You've been on one today.
You've got me even more fired up about. I want the Titans to blow them out right now, so I can say, "I told you so." Look how bad the Chargers are on Wednesday morning.
All right, so Sam's got his prediction. We want your good news. What is your good news this week? Time to send us all the weekend with good news every Friday. Good news presented by Wilson County Hyundai. If you are looking for a new ride, make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process. They will help you out and do a phenomenal job like they always do. Family owned and operated. Payne Bone and his team do a great job. So see him in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. So good news in the chat. So share your good news and we'll read the good news from you guys. Sam, would you like to kick things off?
Sure. This is an embarrassing good news, but it's good news. But it's how my brain works. I realized this Wednesday that I am now 12 days away from a new season of Survivor starting. And that's my good news because I love Survivor. I love the show. I watch it all the time. I get fired up about it every Wednesday. I've been missing it this summer. We're 12 days away from Survivor starting back up. So I'm excited. That's my good news. Deal with it, chat. I don't care if you think it's dorky or weird. I don't care if Austin's rolling his eyes. I'm pumped about Survivor 45.
45.
It is Survivor, and I've seen all 44 before. And most of them I've seen 2 or 3 times. I'm not ashamed to say that. I like the show. It's a great show.
How many seasons do they have per year? Because they have not been doing this for 45 years.
2. Yeah, it started in 01.
Yeah, that's what I say.
They've done 2 a year for 23, almost 22, 23 years now. Yeah. They do 1 in the spring, 1 in the fall. It's great. It's a great show. Highly recommend. There's seasons on Netflix if anybody wants to get involved. Darius, I also watch The Challenge, brother, and I love that show too. I am all over it. The Challenge has been banging this year. So I'm all into I watch Big Brother. I just started Big Brother this season. This is my first Big Brother season. I'm liking it a lot, but I am a Challenge survivor guy through and through. I don't miss an episode, don't miss a season, and I like to go back and rewatch old seasons. So this is my
Turned the TV on last night and I guess we were watching something on CBS or whatever previously, and The Challenge was on. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then
Dude, come on. The Challenge is money.
No,
Austin, who's your Challenge goat?
I don't know I don't know.
C-tier bananas? Is that C-tier bananas?
Yeah.
Who's your goat?
I know exactly what you're talking about for sure. John says, good news. It's him and his wife's second wedding anniversary on the road to head to Nashville from Kansas City for the first Titans home game. All right, John, I hear you there. Come check us out at Acme before the game. A couple people here this morning and Eddie from yesterday. Hopefully to see everybody at Acme on Sunday. So that's great news. Jonathan says, good news. I hope Sam is right. The Chargers put up a stinker. Yep. Noah says, good news. Southern Illinois Salukis came away with an FBS upset over NIU last Saturday. Sam's double down on that one. Jason says, good news. Had a great time in Hawaii last week. Was able to accomplish the stairway to heaven. That was so freaking hard and treacherous. That sounds awesome. Sean says, good news. Suns football team was unveiling alternate gray uniforms for homecoming. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Valentino, my brother and nephew have an MTSU visit tomorrow. That's some good news. Scott says, good news here in southwestern PA. Finally, some cooler weather. It smells like football when you walk outside in the morning. My favorite weather is when you walk out, breathe through your nose, and it kind of like crisp, cool in the nostrils. That's the best weather.
That's why I like rain. I've been saying it forever. It's like that nice little refreshing.
You can have it without the rain. Billy says, got him a ticket to the Colts game December 3rd. That's some good news. People trashing Sam's survivor situation. I think Demetrius says good news. The Nashville mayor election is over. I think that's probably good. So we just stop hearing ads. Let's see. We got somebody asking is Diop hurt? Yeah, he's got an ankle injury. We'll see what happens. It's definitely not rest. A lot of good news coming in. Bork says having a gender reveal with the family tomorrow. I will tell you, Amy Adams Strunk is anti-gender reveals. I learned that during training camp. She's not a big gender reveal person. She thinks it's a bad idea. Amy Adams Strunk. Yeah. She doesn't like gender reveals.
I've seen that.
I had a conversation with Amy and Kenneth about gender reveals, and she goes, they're going to see that later on. And if you're disappointed that, you didn't get a boy or a girl,
that's a good point. Only have a gender reveal if you're like one of those people that is genuinely like, I don't care. I'm happy with either one. Because if you've got your hopes set on one, that would be a little bit of a deflating, like you're that dad that's like, you got two girls already. You're like, I need that son to watch sports with. And then you hit the baseball and it blows up and it's pink. And you're just like, pain. I've seen those videos before. Those kids are going to watch that someday. So
yeah, those kids are going to see those videos down the line. Hey, TJ coming in with a big super chat. Good news. 24th anniversary today to Tiffany. So, hey, that's 24 years. It's a long time.
Big time. It's big time.
Long time. 24 years. So congrats to the Strayhorns right there. My good news is that and this is a thing. It's a complex that I have, Sam, and you'll get to know it and see more opportunities of it because you probably didn't have this chance to see it last year. I have incredibly strong Tennessee, Florida anxiety. And it's tomorrow. We're approaching 36 hours from the game. And my Tennessee, Florida anxiety has not hit yet. This is a strange thing for me. I'm not exactly sure what to do about it, but I'm sure when I wake up tomorrow, I will have incredible Florida, Tennessee anxiety. But my good news is that I have some plans for this Friday, and it's not going to involve my Tennessee, Florida anxiety. That is my good news as you gator chomp over there.
I'm praying on the Vols' downfall. So
why?
I'm gator chopping. You know my thoughts on this. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm over the Tennessee hype. I'm ready. Like,
you
give
better
me
be
give me a
careful.
Pens. Hey,
Don't
by the
bite
way,
the hand who feeds.
all the smack talk for the SEC is kind of looking pretty nice right now. Some people are saying the Pac-12 is the best conference in college football. That's just what I'm hearing. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, Scott says, Austin, take your wife out for dinner. We've got some Friday afternoon plans and evening plans that is going to keep my Tennessee, Florida anxiety away for the rest of the day. So my good
Florida
news
sucks,
is
though. Like, does that help that
yeah, but dude,
your heart of hearts, Florida stinks?
No.
Why? They're so bad. They're so bad.
But Sam, you don't get it, man. You don't get it. You don't get this Florida anxiety that I have.
It's Graham Mertz. It's Graham Mertz. If you lose to Graham Mertz,
no, I'm not worried about Graham Mertz.
25.
I'm not worried about Graham Mertz. What I'm worried about is the next edition of Florida backup coming in after Tennessee knocks out the starter and the backup being better than the starter, part 4. Like that's what I'm nervous about. Not Graham Mertz. It's about the Florida backup that nobody knows the name of, who's going to have like a 30-yard rushing play to break the hearts of Tennessee fans. That's my Tennessee Florida anxiety.
Yeah, so I will say I saw the line was 6.5 for that game. Did not feel like enough points. Like Tennessee is
bad.
Florida's bad. 6.5 is not enough points in that game.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Tennessee has not won in the swamp since 2004, so it's been a long time. 2003, excuse me. 2003, the last Vols win in the swamp.
I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought they were like a premier college football
program. That's what I'm telling you, man.
That beat all of their rivals every year the way that they get talked about sometimes.
That's why there's the Tennessee Florida anxiety, because it hasn't happened in 20 years.
All right, well, we'll see.
Hey, but I'll push that away. It'll creep in tomorrow, but today, good news, no Tennessee Florida anxiety for me the rest of the day. And hey, we'll see you guys at Acme on Sunday morning. Come check us out. Me and Jack will get there early on Sunday. The doors open at 10, Titans game at 2. So we'll be up on the rooftop for our pregame show at 11:30, but make sure you come on down there before the Titans Chargers game. We'll have Spirited Hive canned cocktails, $1 off all home games this season, live from Acme Feed and Seed right across the river from Nissan Stadium. And we will see you guys then. Make sure before you head out of here, you got to hit that thumbs up button. Give us that like on the show before you go. Have a great start to your weekend. Vols game day live tomorrow. Buck should have a 615 sessions later this afternoon about Titans injury updates. And then we'll see you guys on Sunday for Titan Game Day Live. Appreciate it as always.